And so
Nice.
I think that's definitely helped me in balancing. And so I think, yeah, what I guess a good question to ask, and going back to religious fanboy, is like, do you guys see this as a ministry, or do you guys see it as entertainment? Do you guys see it as hobby? Do you guys see it as a business? Like, what is the what? How do you guys see this? And have you guys gotten pushback? I know there's a lot of what comes with this, a lot of negativity and toxicity that come and things like that. And I think I maybe want to talk about that a little bit, but we don't have to. But how do you guys see what you guys do on YouTube?
Like, I had this discussion with Nick, when I did a podcast with him a few weeks ago, because I think when I really don't want to call myself because I think there's a very base level. I think when the Christian goes out and ministers to people, right? That's our calling, right? To make disciples of all nations. But then to call something officially a ministry, because I think on a everyday level we are meant to be ministering, or we are meant to be still discipling other people, or the community around us. So that's how I see my thing, right? It's not like a ministry. Like I don't think I want to ever compare my thing to like, oh, I'm doing basically the same thing that John MacArthur is doing, or like, or or oh, I'm basically doing the same thing as Mike Winger is doing. No, it's not really, because I'm not a pastor. I think
Right.
When I haven't been to Bible college. When I say stuff, it's not because when I say stuff on the internet, I am aware that people might actually follow it because they trust me. But I don't think that's why I wouldn't call myself a ministry, because I don't want people to trust me on the same level as they would trust like a pastor, like a pastor Mike Winger or a pastor Paul Washer, right? So it's not. So yeah, in my view, yeah, sure, it's like on an individual level.
So we're kind of talking about, is this a ministry? Like what we do on YouTube, is this a ministry? Is it not? You guys view it as that? If you do, why do you view it like that? If not, like, sure, like why not as well? But to talk to what you said, Pasan, is that I think I've seen that shift of like sort of like kind of it being like, hey, we want to be able to reach people as well, but we also want to have fun as well. And I think I've seen that in your content too, with like sort of like, have you been playing Power World lately?
Yes, sir.
Thing?
Yes,
and so
sir.
I think I see like and even like the karaoke too. I'm like, yo, what, like this is a thing, and I think that's like you're like tapping into the VTuber like community more, that like you're doing that, and I'm like, yo, that's fun, and I love that, and I think you're kind of showing the aspect of like, hey, like we're serious about Jesus here, we want people to know him, but we're gonna have fun too, like we're gonna like, and you're gonna see that, you're gonna be able to interact with that and engage with that. Hey, I want to, what for you, how do you view this? How do you view this as ministry? Do you view this as like, hey, hobby, just trying to grind out content? What is that like for you?
Well, in all honesty, kind of all of the above in a sense. I really do like Podcast Son's view on it as it's not such a giant grand scale ministry, right? And when you hear ministry, you do think about like churches and the outreaches and stuff like that. But the overall ministry we're all given, right, is to make disciples for the Lord. And the way we do that is different from person to person, because we all have different gifts and things we're good at, right? For me, for one reason or another, people listen to me when I speak, which I don't understand why. I'm just
why would they do that? I'm with you. I don't know why they would do that.
It's crazy. I'm just as clueless as the rest of you, but whatever. We're all going to charge in together, right? But I really do have a passion for trying to develop people, because just kind of give my answer is, the answer is in the name of the channel, right? The Liberated Otaku. And it's kind of a dual meaning. One is I view myself as the Liberated Otaku. I'm an otaku, right? Anime, nerd culture type stuff. But I've been liberated in the sense that, God has freed me from a lot of the negative thoughts that I've had in my life about myself, and self-esteem issues and stuff like that I've talked about in plenty of my videos before on the channel. And then on the flip side of that, it kind of represents my viewers as well. Like they're also nerd anime geeks and otakus who are dealing with some of the same struggles that I have been dealing with, and I'm just a little bit further along than them. So I want to bring them along the ride, right, to get them to that next level. So in a sense, I view it as all of the above, right? It's my personal ministry that I'm doing. I'm using the gifts that God's given me. See it as a hobby because I'm learning a whole bunch of new stuff, like how to do video editing, how to really like storytell, because when we're making these videos, we're storytellers, right? And learning how to just write more, be more precise with how I'm speaking and things like that. And yeah, I wanted to make it a business one day. I would like to be able to kind of coach people along personally on the one-on-one journeys and things like that. But whatever he has in store for me, man, I'm just here for the ride. I'm enjoying it. So
got you. I love that. I love that. Man, I'm excited to hear just just the different testimonies that that come out of like what like you guys do like here, right? Because I think like we all make different impacts in different spaces, cross paths and things like that. But I think just from a lot of what you do, whether it's like we're doing this as ministry or not, it's like people are still impacted, and like how however that comes about, and testimonies that come from it, even if we don't see it when we get to heaven, we might see it. That'd be great. I'm looking forward to that for sure. But all right, Reform Nerd. Manny, Andre, right?
So it's Andreessen, but I tell everybody call me Andy.
Okay, Andy, got you.
He's Americanized his name for the peoples.
You don't gotta do that. Andreessen.
Andreessen. It's been like that for years, brother.
Got you.
Always gets my name wrong, so I'm like, just call me Andy. It's short, it's easy.
I was gonna say something really inappropriate.
Behave yourself.
Bro, okay, Manny, Andy, introduce yourself real quick. Introduce you guys. Introduce your channel, and then I also want to hear like, hey, like, how do you guys view what you guys do? But take it away. I'm so excited for this. Let me mute my.
Yeah, so I guess I'll go first, and then since Andy's like my brother in arms, but I had done a bunch of different YouTube channels in the past, just kind of trying different things out. Like I got into drawing quite a bit, so I had that going on. I'm into business and real estate, and I started to do a little bit of that. And then eventually I landed on the Reform Nerd. And the whole thing behind it, and it took me a while to find my flow, because I'm like, what's the best way I can put it? I'm a teacher at heart, right? So we all take the word very seriously, right? So a lot of my videos at the beginning were very like, okay, I'm going to teach you about the Trinity. I'm going to teach you about this. And then I'm going to use some anime content to link to that, which is fine and is great, depending on what the focus is. But when I first started Reform Nerd, I remember talking to Andre about this. I wanted it to be like when we hang out with our friends, right? We talk about anime, we talk about business, and we always go back to God. Right, like we could be talking about Dragon Ball Z, and then we'll think of a character, and then we'll think about a story from the Bible, and then we'll start intermingling all of that and the lessons that you can get from it. My problem is that I'm always like in teach mode first, so I had to unlearn that, because I wanted it to be more of a chill channel. Like I didn't want it to be like a Mike Winger or an Alan Parr type deal. They're doing their stuff, that's great, but I just wanted it to be a place where people could come, chill, maybe learn something, and just have fun, right? So that's how, if you see my videos at the beginning to now, they're a lot more relaxed. And Andre came in and he helped a lot with that, because if you notice, a lot of the times when we're doing stuff together, for whatever reason, I'm able to just like relax more. I'm cracking more jokes, which is the feel that I've always wanted for the channel. So I think like in that respect, Andre has been a blessing in the times that he's able to come in and participate. So that's kind of like more or less the intent for the channel. And then I'll let you go, and then maybe we can get into answering their question about the ministry and all that.
No, I mean, I think back to like, for example, when even before Reform Nerd started, we had like the lives we do on Facebook with our wives, and like interacting with people. So it's kind of weird, because God is always, and just in general, God is always kind of like intertwined our stories together in more ways than one. And so
sounds a little sus, bro. Like,
no.
okay,
like that.
okay. So to add some context, our wives, his wife and my wife, they're sisters.
Mm-hmm.
So we're family basically.
But
So.
we knew each other
beforehand, yeah.
Before knowing the girl.
Yeah, he ended up coming to like my church at a point, and so it's a whole deal.
That's
Maybe we'll get into
that's
it
actually an
someday.
amazing story.
Yeah.
But yeah, so my biggest thing is just, I'm stuck with this guy for like ever, right? So how is it that I can support my brother? And so when he started with all the different channels, I'm like, all right, let me buy t-shirts, let me help out, let me send videos. And I think it just turned into like one day, was like 2 years ago or a year ago, you were looking for somebody going to live, and I'm like, oh well, my kid's already in bed, let me go. And then we kind of just continued going from there, and yeah, it was right around that time frame.
We started doing the live things.
Yeah, we started doing the lives. I started feeding content because Manny, his brother's got a lot going on. So I know sometimes I gotta be like, hey, let me send you this video, listen to it. What do you think? This is what's going on.
And Andre is like very much a Christian gossiper. He has like, he has like all the Ruslans, and he knows everything that's going on in Christendom, if you will. So he's kind of like my link to that. Like I find out because, he's on that. Same thing with anything. Like I barely pay attention to like what's going on in the. My wife is the one that tells me what's going on in the news, right? So he's a good balance to that when we started doing like the live stuff. But then, I had a kid. He had a kid. My third, his second, and then we haven't done like a live per se, but we've done some recordings for sure.
Yep. So you guys are like you guys are operating on different levels than like. So I love that everyone's at different like life stages in in the community. At least for the people that I know, right? Like some people are single, right? Some people are dating, right? Some people are I'm married, right? You guys are married and have kids, so it's like, and not just one. You guys have multiple, and so it's like you guys are navigating like a different like life, life range, and trying to figure out like how to do life and navigate life, but also how to make engaging content and things like that. And like,
and
no, go ahead.
Now I'll say, like, for me, I'm a creator at heart. Like when I'm drawing, it's so fascinating to be able to bring something from your mind onto paper, and then like you created something, right? Like in that regard, obviously we're all taking part into that image of God. Like, everyone is meant to create to an extent, but for me, that's how, a lot of people, for entertainment, you'll go for walks, you'll play video games, you do something. Like I like to create. I find it fun. So this ministry, Reform Nerd, is one of the places where I get to do that, and I also get to relate to a community, although small. It's kind of fun to see, like, every once in a while, God will bless my life with somebody saying, "Hey, man, like this content really affected my life. Thank you for putting this out there." Like I remember this one guy came in one of the videos, and he had just lost his grandma, and he wanted some advice for that, and I ended up creating a video just for him, based on David and how he lost his son, and how he dealt with grief. Yeah. So, God has definitely blessed me so much, even if it's, here and there, you see the effects that you have. So to answer that question, which we kind of started on, which is like, is this a community? Like, is this a ministry? Is this a business? All that. It's kind of funny you mentioned that, because like growing up, I was like, I think it was like a visual group or something that I wanted to start way back when, like for probably like 8 years ago in one of my churches, and a brother kind of gave me some advice, and he said, like, man, not everything has to be a quote unquote ministry. You know what I'm saying? Like it could just be something that you're doing for the kingdom. It could just be a group. Like you don't have to make it this whole, big thing, or this quote unquote ministry. Like we're all here to serve. And I really took that to heart. I'm like, yeah, man, like that's so true. Like you don't have to, because sometimes you get so behind like the paperwork, like, oh, you got to do all these things in order to officially make the ministry, in order to be able to do something. Like sometimes, you just got to do something. You know what I mean? So for me, I don't know if I would necessarily consider it a ministry.
I would say, yeah,
per se. I mean, I think people could call it that. It's a channel where I get to chill and try to impact people's lives. That's just the way that I see it. and hopefully God allows me to bless as many people as possible with it. To be honest, that's how I look at it.
I look at it in the sense of, right, what's the Great Commission? Go out and make disciples in all nations. And so I look at this as a ministry because in every aspect in our lives, we should be ministering to others.
Oh,
Right? Yeah, here comes the Christian. Right? No, but
all right.
Yeah.
All right, preach.
Oh yeah, we got a free sermon today. Hold on.
You know, and in every single way, and even in the ways that we least suspected, we should be able to touch people in some way, shape, or form. So that's why, for me, it's like I try and look at it with that seriousness as to, you know, even if one person gets affected by it, that's going to be more than enough. Even if we don't see it, right? You know, we may be sowing the seeds, but somebody else is going to reap it. And just in the fact that God has involved us in that process, to me, it's like, it's ministry in that sense. Now, like, are we a 501(c)(3) and, you know, do we got funds from the church and stuff like that? Not necessarily. If God allows that to happen, then praise God. But if it doesn't, you know, we're still doing a work that he started and he's going to finish.
Oh boy. Amen.
Yeah, I love that. I think just to add my own thing. I'm like, you know, is it cool? Yeah. Like I talk about Jesus. Like at least in most of the videos, I'm like, okay, I talk about Jesus. Does that necessarily make it a ministry? No, I think in some capacity, I think for the most part, at least to my knowledge, like we all kind of serving some sort of ministry like function, right? And so like you kind of can like tell the difference. Where it's like, okay, like I'm actually there's the ministry that I'm actually doing here in real life where I'm like actually with people, and then there's like, oh, I'm on YouTube talking about different things that maybe I'm like seeing, like, you know, the news or in the anime community, or I'm like, Ruslan reacting to it. Let me take that and react to it as well. Like I get that a lot. I'm like, oh, I'm just,
you know, it's the age-old debate. Are you a Christian YouTuber or are you a YouTuber that's a Christian?
you know, and I think even this is a side note because obviously I'm a Ruslan fanboy. Like my wife hates it, but I'm like, I'm a Ruslan fanboy. And it's like,
I think your wife and I would get along great.
but
fanboy over here. You got the shirts, the hats, everything.
Listen, I got the sweaters. If you guys should see, I got the Bless God stuff.
I got the Bless God John too. I got the prayer journal here somewhere. I haven't opened it yet.
How is it? Oh, you just got it? You just got it?
Yeah, I just got it. I'm actually trying to like be like, okay, but I'm trying to steward my notebook that I already have. So let me finish this before I actually get into another journal or whatever. So I'm trying to
all right, you and I are gonna have to do a video and we're gonna have to review this.
I had one. My wife stole it from me. She's like, "You're not using it."
Oh my goodness!
From Lucerne, from this thing. Oh, okay.
So I got that journal, and then
I could have sworn that was supposed to be like for men. Didn't he have one for men?
No, because
no. Go ahead.
Because he also has. I bought this actually for one of my pastors and his family because I also got the leadership journal, the prayer journal, and the devotional.
Oh, you tapped in for real. Okay.
Damn, bro.
Dude, that 50% off, man. I was like, let's go.
That makes sense, yeah.
Send me some of them tides.
Yo, I love that.
We got the Elgato, so.
Facts.
But yeah, I'm like, oh yeah, you know, like I talk about Jesus, like, but also I also want to have fun, but I also talk about like, you know, different pop culture things too, and like and some things that are.
I see you getting into some race debates.
Oh my goodness!
Trying to get into some fights out there.
I don't want to, and you know, that's not on purpose. I'm just like, yo, like, you know, I think people are image bearers, and like I think it's unhealthy if we treat other image bearers a certain way. That's not even on like a sort of like a political tip. It's just like, yo, don't be jerks to each other, you know.